share my screen, but I'll introduce myself before I get started. And I apologize. Dell did not put the camera at the top of the screen, which I'm used to with my Mac. So if I'm not looking at you, it's because I forget the camera's at the bottom. But my name is Anna Taylor. I am a talent acquisitions manager with Enterprise Holdings. I have been with the company about 13 years, specifically in talent acquisitions for 5 now. Scope of my responsibilities really include the state of Mississippi, the state of Alabama, central southern Georgia, and the panhandle of Florida. We are a pretty tight-knit group of talent acquisitions professionals within the company. So usually wherever you are looking for a position, I will have that connection to introduce you to my counterpart in that market specifically. I do have one question before I jump into my PowerPoint. As far as work from home opportunities, as far as customer service representatives, yes, we do have work from home opportunities, depending on the state. Well, in the past, depending on the state that you've lived in. Unfortunately, Alabama was not one of those states where we had those opportunities. Obviously, with COVID, that has changed the structure of our company a little bit. We are adapting and finding that we can have some of those positions moved from a central location or from an office location into a work from home capacity. So I will anticipate, or I would anticipate seeing more of those come available at some point. As far as specific customer facing roles that we have, unfortunately, through our daily rental team, we really have to have individuals that are there to assist the customers that are coming in and out of our location. So that's primarily where the bulk of our positions will be at the sum. So if we don't have any other questions, I'm going to try to share my screen here and pull this up here. Y'all tell me if you can see this.
Yes.
Can somebody give me okay. Let's see if this is gonna go. Awesome, okay. And I'm gonna move this a little bit closer, that way, since I don't have my wireless mouse, y'all will see my hand in the video. So a little bit about what we will talk about is the of the company. So the umbrella that Enterprise Rent-A-Car operates under is Enterprise Holdings. So our 3 primary brands are Enterprise, Alamo, and National. That primary position that we are recruiting for is that sales management trainee position, coupled with that summer internship. Not to say that we don't have other opportunities available. I will touch on some of those toward the end of the presentation, but this has really been the bread and butter for our company. So I want to play a quick video from actually our YouTube page about some of the history, and then we'll move forward. All right. So that's a very brief overview, a couple minutes there. I will answer the question. No, I am not related, unfortunately, to any of the members of the Taylor family, as I usually get that question. Absolutely wish Jack was my grandfather, but he was an awesome man. I was fortunate to meet him before he passed a few years back. But I do get that question a lot, so I wanted to answer that before we get started. So as you can see, really, we started out as a very local rental car company there in St. Louis, Missouri, have expanded to be a global rental car company, and really looking over the next several years to move towards more of that global transportation company. So we do have those three primary rental car brands that you are familiar with: Alamo, Enterprise, and National, which each target a specific customer base. But we do have a portfolio of other brands that have really helped diversify our business. And I will really attribute our rebound from COVID being that we really didn't have all of our eggs in one basket, and that we really have given the customer that opportunity to move, whether that was through, our truck rental team or our car sales team, our commute team, so ride share, van pools that we have, or even our fleet management team, where we're really supporting companies that have a large need for a fleet of vehicles. So having that diversity, not just operating in the home city markets or airports, has absolutely helped us as well. So, like I said, our three main brands that we do run are National. You will see that primarily at airports. That is absolutely geared toward our business traveler, that road warrior. We have the Alamo brand that will be at airport locations as well. We have a partnership with Disney, so you will see a lot of commercials geared toward more of that leisure or tourist specific individual. We have a lot of partnerships with Alamo in our overseas operations. And then traditionally you will have the Enterprise brand, which is more of that replacement market. So hopefully none of you have had to use us because you have been in that car accident or that check engine lights come on. But that's typically how we're initially going to find that customer. And then it's really up to our employees to create that repeat customer base, so they come back when they need us for that fun road trip. So as the video touched on, we operate in well over 90 countries. I believe this past year we opened in our 100th country. These are specifically the corporate-owned operating groups. So as you can tell, really across the US and Canadian operations, as well as France, Spain, England, and I'm missing one there. Nope, I think I covered them all. So really having that opportunity to be mobile within the company and change careers without having to change companies, or even change cities without having to change companies, has been beneficial to myself and others within the company. So here is our current world footprint. They did touch on this in the video, so I'll kind of cruise through here. A little bit about Enterprise Holdings overall. We did profit fiscal year 19, just shy of 26 billion. We do have 10,000 fully staffed locations. We are the 13th largest privately held company, so a lot of people think we are traded. We are not. We are still owned and operated through the Taylor family in St. Louis. Chrissy Taylor is actually the third Taylor family member to be CEO. She is our current CEO and president, operating more than 2 million vehicles with 100,000 employees. In addition to the profit side of the business, our philanthropic initiatives, as you saw on the video, include our 50 million tree pledge. So my first year with the company was our 50th anniversary. And so at that point, we did decide to, over the next 50 years, plant 1 million trees in different cities, countries that were affected. I would assume once West Coast it dies down a little bit with the fires, that we will be going in and planting some trees there. We had some wildfires when I was in my last operating group in Austin that came through the Bastrop area. And so I actually got to plant about 125,000 or help. I didn't personally do that, but I helped along with some of my team members plant about 125,000 small trees so that they can be replenished from a fire that moved through there about 10 years ago. Our newest initiative happened about 3 years ago or so during our 60th anniversary, where we pledged that $10 million to food banks in our local markets over the next 6 years. So I have participated a couple of times personally in the food bank here in Central Alabama. I know some of our employees down in the Troy market will go into Montgomery to help with that, there with the food bank that they have there. So a little bit about you and why I'm doing this presentation. We have found a very strong pipeline, and like Lauren had mentioned, specifically with Troy University, we have been blessed to have college graduates join our ranks as management trainees and really move their careers through into management. We hired last fiscal year close to 8,000 university graduates like yourself, with just shy of 2,000 interns in our summer intern program in 2019. That touches a little bit on our internal interview promotions and process. I will tell you, Enterprise is very unique. You've probably seen that we only promote from within. So when we go through that interview process, we're not looking for someone that just sees this as that job, but really that career path. So they have that buy-in. We can eventually give them the alarm coding keys to a location, and that they can be there to train and develop future graduates even after themselves. So I've talked a lot about management trainee or sales management trainee or MT, as you will hear it called. We have a lot of our own lingo there, but that really is that entry-level position. Very much so centered around customer service and sales. I'll touch on a few competencies on the next slide, but it's a pretty comprehensive hands-on training program that lasts between about 6 and 9 months, depending on the market or the city that you start in. Could go up to close to 12 months, but really it gives you a hand-on exposure to really learning our business. So everything from that customer-facing aspects of the customer service sales, to that outside marketing, how are you cultivating those relationships with those body shops and insurance agents and companies on a local level that are running from you. You learn a little bit about the back end of the business. How do you look at profit and loss statements, and how are you able to analyze those to run the most efficient, most effective operation? And again, really just overall hone and tailor some leadership and management skill sets that will benefit you in the future. So as we go through that interview process, at this point, I will preface that with we are conducting all of our interviews virtually, just for both the safety of the candidate and our employee. But what we look for specifically are some tangible, what I call tangible and some intangible skill sets. So absolutely that customer service and sales or that persuasive ability are a must. We are a performance-based company, and so we're looking for those individuals to be able to perform within our business model, but we're also looking for those individuals that can come in and really put in the work, that definitely take advantage of the resources given to them, kind of have that self-drive to be able to move their career forward. So when it comes to that leadership capability, I kind of clump in there the communication aspect, that ability to really work in a very fast-paced, very fluid environment. We do task our employees with a lot of responsibilities on a day-to-day basis, and so they wear a lot of different hats. So those are a few of the core competencies that we do look for. So if you are interested in applying, definitely think through some of those student organizations or that community outreach or group projects that you've been a part of, in addition to the work experience that you have to be able to really speak to some of those competencies. This is that career path that we have with Enterprise. So you really have that opportunity to take your career where you see it going. Everyone does start in that management trainee program, and then I almost call it that spider web. You have that opportunity to move into whether it is a sales-centric role as a business rental sales executive, or our fleet management team, or our car sales team. Maybe you're moving more into one of those support roles, like myself, in human resources, or vehicle repair, or risk management. So that's really what that defined, very transparent career path looks like with Enterprise. And that's really all I have for you on a very broad level of the history and what we are looking for in our management trainees. I really want this to be more of a Q&A session. So whatever, I will stop sharing here. So whatever questions that you all may have, I will be more than happy to answer this for you. So I think you can unmute yourself, I believe, right, Lauren? You've given
you should be able to
themselves. Okay.
Or if you want to type in the chat box, we can do that.
Either way, I have my chat box pulled up over here. We can absolutely look at that. While you are all thinking of great questions to ask, I will preface this with my counterpart, who is a Troy University graduate, who has two sons actually attending the university as we speak. She will actually be my counterpart that will be attending the career fair that you have here pretty soon. So if you haven't already signed up for that, she would love to speak to you at that time. A little plug for you guys as well. But
we saw one come in the chat box that asked about pay, just a general pay range, maybe in a starting entry level position.
Yeah, I did leave that off. So I can speak specifically to the footprint that I operate in. And so for what I call the Southeast, so the 4 states that I cover, the pay range, depending on what market you're in, is between about 38 and 43,000. Alabama, because we do take into a cost of living factor, there are parts of Alabama that we are going to pay more than some of our other markets. So you will be closer to the high end. Depending on where you go, I came from Austin. You're looking at those Austin metro areas. You're going to be closer to the $45,000, $46,000, $47,000. You get to our major markets in California, New York, you're going to be targeted over that $50,000 mark. That just makes up for the cost of living, which I feel is pretty consistent with any company that you potentially would apply for. As far as IT available positions, we do have IT positions. We do have those primarily at our global headquarters in St. Louis. We have about 2,500 IT professionals that work in either the security side, the architect side, the engineering aspect, the analytics component, project management. So those are kind of the 5 core areas that we have in our IT field. Every once in a while, we have a campus in Ontario, Canada, that will have positions available. But those are really the 2 main campuses.
Do you all hire international students or a student that's on a visa?
So specifically in our sales management trainee program or our other entry-level position that I hire for specifically in this region, the staff accountant role, unfortunately, no. We either need to have you be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. Now, I don't work in the technical recruiting space day in and day out. I know they have, depending on the positions, made some exceptions when it comes to authorization or sponsorship in those roles, but I don't want to speak to yes or no because I think that's very dependent on the position with them.
Okay, we had one come in that says, are you looking for students who are graduating right now, this year, next, or is this open kind of for the future ongoing?
Sure. Let me go back real quick to VJ. Yes, I can absolutely, if you will send me your email address or put that in the chat box, I will send you, I have a flyer that has what that career path looks like through our IT division. It also has my technical recruiters' email addresses and contact information. So I can absolutely send that resume over to them, as well as send you that link to what positions we currently have open in the IT field. We are actually looking for students for the sales management training program or that staff accountant role, or even some of those IT positions that are graduating within this year. So typically we're looking for the next 1 to 2 semesters. So for those entry level positions, we are looking for a completed bachelor's degree. So as long as you're graduating for May 2021, you would be a viable candidate in one of those positions. If you're graduating within the next 2 years, you would qualify for our summer internship. So our internship, what that is, and I'm surprised it was not on my presentation, but that is essentially, it mirrors our sales management trainee position. And so it really gives you a very condensed, hands-on, peek behind the curtains look at what that position would be. We have those available in our IT space, as well as our training program on a local level. Typically, the internship will run between about 10 and 12 weeks over the summer. It is a paid internship, and it's definitely one where you're very interactive and very much so a part of the team. You're not sitting back in the back getting someone's coffee or just answering phones. We really want you to see what the day in the life is and really be able to take away some very tangible skills, whether that is to use with us once you graduate in the program, or you do take them to another company. We want it to be a very valuable experience for you. We have not posted, I will tell you specifically in this market, we have not posted our summer internships yet. We are still ironing out some details as we've moved a lot of our classroom-based training to that virtual space. So we want to make sure that we have that all ironed out, but I would anticipate here in the next 30 to 45 days that those internship positions will be posted, and we will be actively interviewing, starting in November, December, January for that internship. Any other questions? You sent me one.
Do you all try to, I know this is completely based on
No, you're fine.
ability and the students'
Sure.
experience and how well they do, but do you try to hire them, or do they have more an advantage if they do your internship program, if they do a good job?
Yes. So I will tell you, it's not a prerequisite to be an intern with Enterprise to come on with the company. I was not an intern, but with the company. But yes, we do try to convert our interns into that full-time capacity. And I was just looking at the numbers earlier today, about 80% of our summer interns, we extend offers to at the end of the summer, and they actually come on with us full-time within that next year upon graduation. Yes, it is a performance based internship. So there have been times where, maybe they were performing, but they came to work with a bad attitude, or there was something that maybe we didn't feel was a coachable character trait of that individual. Those are some examples of some people that we have not extended offers out to, but the vast majority we do.
As you all think of another question, I'm going to share my screen real quick and show everyone how you can sign up for your sessions for our career fair coming up next week. So when you go to students, you'll go to troy.joinhandshake.com. You can get there through our website as well, through career services at Troy. But you're just going to go to events right here. And I've already got it highlighted on my page, but you can search this tab right here, Career Fair, or you can scroll through all the events. But it's the Troy Fall 2020 Virtual Career Fair, and this is next Wednesday. So this is the time to get in there and do it now. You'll hit register, which will register you to attend, but you don't have any meetings set up yet just by hitting register. So you'll want to scroll down, and you'll want to look at available sessions. And you can look through all of the employers that are attending. You're going to see various employers offer one-on-one sessions, group sessions, but I'm just going to go right back up to the top and search for Enterprise. And they have popped up right here. So you'll see they are offering various sessions. So they've got a group session at 1 that you can attend again. Up to 50 students can join those group sessions. Another one at 3. And then these are kind of where the rubber meets the road. You want to try to get one of these positions if you're interested. The one-on-one sessions, it's only 10 minutes, so it's not a full-blown interview. But this will give Anna and her team a really good sense of who you are. And it's your opportunity to get in front of them for 10 minutes before other students that are applying for that management trainee position. So we really encourage you all to go in to the career fair, troy.joinhandshake.com, and go ahead and grab some of those spots.
I will tell you, 10 minutes goes by very quickly. In my experience, it does go by very quickly. I will tell you the 2 group sessions that we have. I don't necessarily do a presentation, nor will my counterpart do a presentation. We really want it to be more informal, very much a Q&A session. She will touch on a little bit of her career history with the company, and again, give a very broad overview of the company and the positions that we're applying for. But we've really done more of our roundtable discussion, more or less, in those group sessions. So
come prepared with some questions. Would you encourage them to turn their cameras on when they're in a fair event?
I would absolutely encourage you to turn your cameras on. I will tell you one thing that I have come across, and I'm not the most technologically savvy person, but we have found specifically with those MacBook users, don't use Safari. Oh. Because then you will not hear the employer, because we're typically running off of Chrome. Okay. Most of our, just to bypass some of our firewalls that we have. So try to access it through either your phone. Some of them, they were able to download the app and just use their phone, or try to get into that video session through Chrome. So just a tidbit I learned this week.
We're using Handshake to host the event, and they really recommend Chrome for their system as well. So, yeah. Any other things, any else advice you've experienced with other career fairs that students, what do they do that stand out?
Oh, that's a great question. Having their resume loaded to their profile on Handshake, absolutely, from a recruiter standpoint, helps, because I'm able to view your profile while I'm speaking with you, but I'm also able to use that information to follow up afterwards. Again, 10 minutes doesn't give me a whole lot of time to get through the elevator pitch and to answer any questions that you have. It really does go by very quickly. So already having your resume preloaded, absolutely helps me as an employer. I would assume most other employers would say the same thing. Really having that elevator pitch, as I call it, that 1 minute about you. This is me, this is my major, this is why I'm interested in speaking with you. These are the questions that I have. Being prepared, and that preparedness throughout absolutely makes me remember who to follow back up with, for sure. Any other questions for me? And yes, VJ, I did get your information, so I will follow up with you after, okay? I'll get that information over to you.
Great. Anybody else? Well, Anna, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
We're excited that you guys are attending the fair next week online, and we can definitely have some of our students lined up to talk with you guys.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And if anyone needs anything else, feel free to reach out to us or connect with my counterpart next Wednesday.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time.
Have a great afternoon.
Thanks for attending, everybody.
You're welcome. Bye.